Hey everyone, welcome back to Escalation 00, and we have some really big wins in regards to the copyright claims that have been hitting my account recently, and it's substantial enough that I'm sharing this information and making it publicly available for anyone who's a content creator that produces Halo content, and it might work for other content as well that is owned exclusively by Microsoft. So if you're a content creator, you need to watch this video. If you've had any of your videos claimed for music that's Halo music and it shouldn't be claimed, or whatever the case may be, you need to watch this video. And if you're not a content creator but you watch many content creators and enjoy their content, you need to share this video with them in some regard so they're aware of this situation, because we're looking at a 100% success rate here at releasing these claims. So this is how it breaks down. I was hit with 12 copyright videos, copyright claims, and I contested all of them. Now, all of the 12 that were originally claimed was Halo music. I contested all of them. 4 of them released quite quickly. However, once the 4 released, I was hit with 3 more. 2 of them were not music; they were actually like Halo Fall of Reach and Halo Legends footage. And the third one was claimed against public domain music composed by Rachmaninoff that's been in public domain since 1943, which has no copyright claim on it. So the fact that they can try to claim that is just okay. I compiled all of the information of these companies as I clearly outlined in the previous video, the previous update video, and I found the name for all the companies, compiled all the information, sent it off to Microsoft. That's pending. Microsoft doing what they do. I also hired a solicitor to find these companies and issue cease and desist letters for making these fraudulent copyright claims, because they are fraudulent. These companies, again, the list of which are in the description down below and in the top pinned comment, I believe. These companies have no association or affiliation with Microsoft or Halo or 343 Industries, so it is fraudulent activity. So that's pending. The solicitors are doing their job. That's pending. I'll give an update when I know more. I also worked with a legal friend. Now, this is the important thing. I worked with a legal friend to devise a script for disputing the claims. And the script reads as follows. There's a couple of variations, but it reads as follows. All music used in this video is from the Halo original soundtracks. The composers of this music are O'Donnell Salvatori Inc., the original composers of the Halo soundtracks, and or Neil Davidge, the original composer of the Halo 4 soundtrack. The copyright holder of this music is Microsoft. Under Microsoft's game content usage policy, it states that the use of game content, including game footage, cutscenes, and audio visuals, can be used in monetized videos on YouTube and Twitch. Microsoft game content usage policy states clearly, these rules apply to all games and game content published and owned by Microsoft Studios and for which Microsoft owns the copyright, trademark, or other intellectual property, of which Microsoft owns the entirety of the Halo franchise. It goes on to say, you may make your item available on YouTube or Twitch and participate in programs on those sites to allow you to earn revenue from ads displayed in connection with your item. The original policy can be found here. Provide the link. Martin O'Donnell has publicly stated that he does not own the rights to the Halo soundtrack he and Michael Salvatori composed, and that they rest solely with Microsoft. Neil Davidge was contacted on this matter and informed of the following. All rights in the Halo 4 score rest with Microsoft. Sorry, need to refer you back to Microsoft. Just going to interrupt quickly here. This has been added after the fact, after I originally edited this video, as new information has become available. So the Halo 4 soundtrack has distribution rights that rest with Sony somehow, and it does mean that they do have a legitimate claim against the Halo 4 original soundtrack. So if you are using Halo 4 music in your content, you're still going to encounter demonetization as long as it comes from Sony specifically, Sony Music Publishing. If it comes from anyone else, it's fraudulent. If it doesn't come from Microsoft or Sony for the Halo 4 soundtrack, it's fraudulent. If it comes from Sony, or it won't be Microsoft, but if it did come from Microsoft, it's legitimate. So best way to avoid that, don't use the Halo 4 soundtrack. This means all original composers of Halo music defer to Microsoft as the original copyright holder, and since Microsoft allows the usage of this content in monetized videos on YouTube and Twitch, any copyright claim of this content that does not come from Microsoft itself is a fraudulent claim. Microsoft, as the copyright owner, the game content usage policy, and the statements of the respective composers prove beyond doubt that this claim has been made in error and should not stand. Now, there is a variation of this script that allows you to deal with claims that are made by other YouTube channels through the YouTube's copyright algorithm that does it kind of automatically, and basically it's just claiming against content you've uploaded against another YouTube channel that's uploaded similar or the same content in part or in full, and for some reason pays them the revenue, and it shouldn't because they don't own the copyright, Microsoft do. And it also deals with things that aren't strictly just the music. It deals with things like Halo Legends, Halo The Fall of Reach, the animated movie, Halo Forward Unto Dawn, things like that. So the variation of the script, again, you can tweak these as well based on your specific circumstance, and make sure you do the research to make sure that there is no association or affiliation between the individual channel or the company and Microsoft. As far as I've found so far, almost every company that have been involved with any claims that have been made against me for the entirety of the time that I've been on YouTube haven't had any association or affiliation with Microsoft. They don't have the authority to make that claim against you. Only Microsoft do. So, the variation of the script is as follows. The claimant is another YouTube channel, or the claimant is such and such a company, again, tweak it as you need it, that has also uploaded this content in one of their videos. Just because they've uploaded this footage does not make them the copyright holder of the original content, and as such, this claim has no legal basis. Microsoft own the copyright to this content, and their fair usage content policy allows both myself and other YouTubers, the claimant included, to use this content. The footage claimed here is Halo The Fall of Reach, Halo Legends, Halo Forward Unto Dawn, whatever the case may be. The copyright holder of this is Microsoft. Under Microsoft's game content usage policy, it states that the use of game content, including game footage, cutscenes, audio visuals, can be used in monetized videos on YouTube and Twitch. Microsoft's game content usage policy clearly states these rules apply to all games, content published and owned by Microsoft, yada yada yada, same as the previous one. It goes on to say, you may make your item available, again, same as the previous one. The original policy can be found here. And in the rather unique circumstance where public domain music was claimed, it's really quick and to the point. So I put, for the particular piece that was claimed against me, the claimed piece is Piano Concerto No. 3 in D minor, OP 30, composed by Rachmaninoff in 2014. All of Rachmaninoff's compositions became public domain. In truth, most of his compositions were already in the public domain when he passed away in 1943, and thus cannot be claimed against by third parties for copyright purposes. The claim against this video is invalid and should be released immediately. So they're the scripts. Again, they're in the video description down below. You can copy them and you can use them, save them, whatever the case may be. Again, make minor tweaks as you need to based on the content that's being claimed. I'm now going to walk you through the process so you can visually see the process from my end on how you go about initially disputing the claim and then appealing it if it is rejected, because it can happen. So if you're a content creator, this is the important part of the video. This you need to be paying attention now. If you're not a content creator, share this video with your favorite Halo content creators, because this will help them release or any copyright claims against Halo music and other Halo content, and that helps everybody. There's no reason why my fellow content creator brothers and sisters should be dealing with this shit, because this is fraudulent activity. There's no two ways about it. Again, this also only works with Halo content as far as I'm aware. I've only tested it on Halo content. It stands to reason, based on the game content usage policy's own wording, that other games owned exclusively by Microsoft could also benefit from this script, but again, you'd need to tweak it with those respective games, and you need to do the research to make sure that the game content that you are contesting is actually exclusively owned by Microsoft, particularly if it's music. Again, sometimes that can be licensed out. Sometimes the original composers still own the license, the copyright license for it. So a little bit of your own kind of research and legwork will be required in that capacity. And again, it's worked for me. and it should work for you, but don't do anything that you're not completely comfortable with. I've done everything that I can in this video and the content and the script and everything like that to minimize the risk to you as a channel and as an individual. But again, it is down to your own comfort level. The original dispute, even if it's rejected, nothing happens. There's very little risk involved there. It's the next step after that. But we'll deal with that in a second. So, if you've just uploaded a video, or you've recently uploaded a video, or a video was uploaded a while ago and has only just recently got a claim, or you've just noticed the claim and you haven't done anything yet, you haven't disputed it, you haven't done anything yet, this is what you do to dispute it. So first things first, you'll go into the details of the respective copyright claim, and there you'll be able to identify the company that are making the claim against you, or the individual. In this case, it's actually another YouTube channel. I just had to search that name on YouTube and it came up with the exact channel. In either case, once you've identified the company and the respective part of content that has been copyrighted, you can click here and go to dispute. At this point, it's none of these options here, because those options just say that, you know, there may be licenses in place that void it. So you just click this one to move on to here. And because this is all Halo content, it falls under Microsoft's Fair Content Usage Policy. That means that you can use the copyright exceptions such as fair use for this particular case. Then it's just a case of continuing from here onto the next screen and believe that you're obviously you have the right to use this content. It just gives you definitions of fair use. This is just generic kind of legal mumbo jumbo. You can just again click that you acknowledge this and move on. This is the part that's the important aspect of this process. So now you have to select gameplay, because it's obviously come from a game of some degree. Here you copy in the template that I've put into the video descriptions for the respective situation. So with this particular one, it's that it's for the fall of reach rather than music. You then tick all the boxes to confirm, sign your name, and then submit this dispute against the copyright claim. Now once you've done that, the video goes into escrow for 30 days. Now that basically means that any revenue earned on that video through ads will be held in a holding account for 30 days. Now during those 30 days, the company or the individual that's made that claim may release the claim, especially if you use the script here, because it deals directly with the legalities that are involved. Hopefully they release it relatively quickly and it's no problem. Sometimes they just want to play hardball or just be a dick, in which case the whole 30 days will roll by. You won't get the money during those 30 days, but once those 30 days elapse, the money releases, it comes straight to you, we're all good and we're all happy. The only caveat to that is that they can reject your dispute. And if they do that, it's a slightly different process. So if it's rejected, you can appeal it again, use the same rationale. You'll have to provide some personal details, however. So it's up to you to choose if you want to take it that far, because again, we're dealing with companies that are making fraudulent claims against content creators for Halo music that they don't own the copyright for. And the information that you provide, your name, your address, can and will be shared with these companies. Now, if they're dealing with fraudulent copyright claims, I don't much rate how well they'll handle your private details in regards to confidentiality. So again, it's your own choice in this regard. I took the risk because I can use a pseudo address like a PO box that doesn't actually tell where my exact location is, and that kind of helps mediate some of the risk of private information being, you know, released and getting out there. But again, completely down to you. I'm not going to force you to do anything that you don't want to. So if it's rejected, you can appeal it, and this is what you do to appeal it. This follows a very similar procedure to the previous one. It's just that you're adding more extraneous detail, and this is the one where you have to use your own private information. So this one is an example of Haven, composed by Neil Davidge from the Halo 4 soundtrack, that's been copyright claimed. Again, you can quite easily ascertain the companies that are involved, and I've already disputed this before, and you can see here it says dispute rejected. So now I'm going to effectively appeal that final decision. So again, you click the three dots, click your appeal, loads up basically basic information about the appeal. It gives you 7 days, or rather it gives the claimant 7 days to respond, but again, this is just generic information. You just click understand, continue. this is the point that I can understand some people get a little bit worried about the circumstance, because you're putting in your private details. You have to put in your name and your full street address along with a contact email address. I understand people's concern. Now, I use a PO box I've got, so it's not actually my actual address. It's kind of a proxy address, so to speak, so that at least somewhat serves to keep my identity somewhat secure. But nevertheless, you put your information in here and then you continue to the next step. I understand the trepidation, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. Click continue, move on to the next page, which is the rationale. Again, into the reason, you literally copy in the same template that I've got in the video description for the respective circumstance. So again, with this one, this is Halo 4 music that's being claimed against, so I'm using the template that tackles Halo music specifically, and the composers Martin O'Donnell, Michael Salvatori, and in this case Neil Davidge. So I will be copying that into this rationale text box just here. Again, same as the previous one. Once it's all copied in, you just confirm everything and then sign your name at the bottom. Once that's done, you click submit and we move on. Now, I will say that despite them not having a legal claim, a legal right, or to this content, despite that, if they illegally reject your dispute, your appeal, which they can, hypothetically, it's highly unlikely that they would, because if they do, they're effectively openly claiming this content is mine when it's not, it's Microsoft's. Then they're opening themselves to the next step, which I'll inform you about in a minute, and then they have to tussle with Microsoft legally. Not many people want to do that. Just one more little update. Sony Music Publishing do own distribution rights to the Halo 4 soundtrack, so if you get to this stage, they will reject your appeal. And although it can result in a copyright strike, Sony have been relatively good about basically giving you the option to drop your dispute. So you can then just drop it entirely and it just goes back to just demonetized, but the video is still live and you get no copyright strike. There's still a 7-day limit on that. If you don't drop the dispute during that time, the video will be either manually removed by you, or it will be automatically removed by YouTube after those 7 days, and you will get a copyright strike. So the only circumstances where you don't get a copyright strike is if you remove it yourself or you drop the dispute. Again, Sony Music Publishing do have distribution rights to the Halo 4 soundtrack, so the Halo 4 soundtrack is off limits, so to speak. So it's highly unlikely, but they can, if they want to, they can reject your appeal. Now, if they do that, you will receive a copyright strike on your channel. If you receive 3 of these within 90 days, your channel can and will be demonetized. Then you'll have to speak to YouTube directly. You can, again, use the same rationale here, that you were using content that you're allowed to use, that is covered by a game content usage policy, and that it was fraudulently claimed by these third-party companies. You can use the same rationale, but you'll have to go through the legwork of talking to YouTube and trying to work it out between you and YouTube to get your channel remonetized. Again, highly unlikely that it'll happen, but it's a possibility. So to mitigate the risk of you being entirely demonetized, don't appeal more than 2 rejections at a time, because you've got 3. If you get three copyright strikes, you're demonetized. If you get 2, then after 90 days they release and everything's back to normal. You're in good standing again. So don't ever claim more than 2 at a time. So if you've got 5 videos that were claimed and you disputed it and then they rejected it, and then you appealed that rejection and they rejected it again, you got the copyright strike, you're only gonna make that appeal for 2 at a time. So you got 5, only appeal 2. After they release, great, it's all good. And then appeal another 2, they release, and then appeal the last one. Once you've done that process, after 7 days, it's a much smaller process for appealing. After 7 days, they'll either ignore you completely, which they probably will ignore you completely, in which case you'll wait the full 7 days, then it'll just release and it'll be fine, or they'll release it bloody quick because they realise you know your shit. Very small risk that they'll actually reject that as well and you get the copyright strike. Again, your own comfort level there, okay? It should also be noted that if they do reject your appeal, they are breaking international copyright law. if they do that, this is what you do. Since these claims are fraudulent, and they likely know that they are fraudulent, they'll probably do anything they can to avoid you taking this step. And they'll release the claim before you get there. But on the off chance they do take that fucking risk, take down the name of the company or companies that are claiming your content. Take down the content that they're claiming specifically, and if possible, if you could still got the original file of your video, upload it to a cloud storage, OneDrive, Google Drive, whatever the case may be. Get a shareable link, put it into an email with the name of the company, with the rationale, with everything else that you need, and send it to this email address. Send it to dmcaagent spelled AGNT, at Microsoft.com. Again, that's in the description down below. Send it to them. They will take relevant legal action against those companies, and after those 90 days have elapsed, the copyright strike that you may have got because they were bold enough to reject your appeal will release, and everything will be fine. You'll likely lose money. You'll likely lose the money from that video completely, but at least you'll still be monetized, and at least Microsoft will be dealing with them behind closed doors. And that's the whole process. And like I said, so far, 15 of my videos have been claimed by the same list of companies. 11 of them have released directly as a consequence of these, of using these scripts, this rationale. 4 are still pending. I'll let you know what happens. And these companies are being sought out and issued with cease and desist letters. I hope, beyond all hope, that should this all work out exactly as I hope it does, and you use this structure of contesting these fraudulent claims, I'll keep using them as well. It's my hope that every single Halo content creator here on YouTube and on Twitch will no longer receive these copyright claims, and if they do, this will work and release it, and you're good as gold. No problems. And I hope that it will be very soon thereafter that these same companies that keep making these fraudulent claims realise, oh, well, there you go, all the Halo content creators now know their shit. That they're now contesting it legally, and we can't do anything. We'll just leave them alone. And then we're good. And then we're good. That's the lay of the land. That's what's going on right now. If you're not a content creator, but you watch Halo content creators and they've had similar issues, which they likely have, send them this video. Send them this structure of doing things. And if you are a content creator, use this. You shouldn't be getting your shit claimed. I shouldn't be getting my shit claimed. We shouldn't be having money drawn away from us to third-party companies that have nothing to do with Microsoft or Halo. It's not right. This is working. So use it. You're welcome. Take it easy, everyone, and find peace in the domain.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider smashing the like button and leave a comment below on what you'd like me to cover next. Big shout out to my patrons, Spartan10148, the Metarch of my installation, Falcon, Prophet Bear, Mikhail, Sophia, and Ashley, my dutiful monitors. Darian, Scarab, Spartan0137, Anthony, Ghost, Aaron, Chris, Jacob, Sean, Element Zero, Somatic, Jordan J3, Dan, Mr. Keys, Directal, Gunslinger, Jacob, Bandmill, Echo, Evermore, Officer Cat, and Personal Devil, my diligent sub-monitors, my fleet of Strato Sentinels, and my loyal enforcers. And all the other patrons who have jumped aboard to support the channel. It means more to me than I can accurately put into words. Another shout out to my Tier 0 Transcendent YouTube members, Spartan137, Jacob, Schmitty, Talia, Fenrir, and Born Stellar, and all the other YouTube members keeping my installation running on that glorious vacuum energy. Shout out to John for I don't fucking know. And if you want more of this kind of content, hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon so you don't miss any future videos, and consider jumping aboard yourself as a patron or YouTube member to keep the channel alive and kicking. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy, everyone, and find peace in the domain.